Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday and on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, and TikTok. We appreciate you joining us. And now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here we go.
Well, hello there, and thanks again for joining us for your weekly verbal double take. Today, I am Jason, and today I am the top-notch safecracker as I work my magic and open up that safe door to another topic that made me say, wait, what? Joining me as always is the witty explosive expert, both with TNT, C4, and ASS, Darrell.
I would not call me any kind of explosive expert. I don't know shit about that stuff. I would blow myself up.
What about ASS?
I'm great. I'm great with it. With ASS. World renowned for that.
You've blown up a few potties here and there.
Oh, that's what you meant? Oh.
Yes, well, the other one too. Not mine though. Never mind. Let's get back on topic here. Well, who doesn't like watching a good movie? No matter what you were feeling that day, movies have you covered. From westerns to comedies to sport movies and chick flicks, there's a movie for everyone. There are two genres of movies that are on the top of my list. One is mafia movies. Movies like Casino, The Godfather, Goodfellas are classics. Are classics.
Fellers.
Yeah, I did.
I like them good fellers. They're all like, forget about it.
Well, I know it is not a movie, but The Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire from HBO are top 10 shows for me too. I know you haven't seen Sopranos. It's really good.
I also haven't seen Boardwalk Empire.
Also really good. There's a character on Boardwalk Empire that you would absolutely love. It's right down your alley.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I mean, Denise wants me to watch it. I'm sure I'll watch it eventually.
It's good. I just love those type of shows. The other genre that sits on top of my list is heist movies. The Ocean movies, The Italian Job, The Thomas Crown Affair are all great. Once again, I know it's not a movie, but Money Heist on Netflix is awesome. You've seen that one?
Yeah. Honestly, the first season I liked. Second season, I was kind of like,
Yeah, they kind of strung it out, but the whole story in itself was pretty cool.
Yeah, the first season was great, but
yeah.
You
ever go back and watch it in Spanish and see how different their voices were?
I did. I was so shocked to hear that the nerd guy had such a deep voice.
I
was like, what? Because they did not give him a deep voice in the English dub.
No. Recently, I saw the movie Logan Lucky. I enjoyed it. At the end of this movie was my Waywut moment. On all these heist movies, rarely do the perpetrators get caught, or the stolen goods are never recovered. How often does this happen in real life? Well, it turns out it happens more often than you would think. That's what we will get into today, as I will tell you stories of real-life heists, how they did it, if they got away with the loot, and if any long-term effects are in place because of it, and an added little side note for me.
I am so glad you're doing this, because this was at one point on my list of topics to research, because I have a few particular heists that really are very interesting to me. And
Yes.
I'm imagining they will get covered by you eventually.
Yes.
If not in this episode.
Yes, there's more than what I'm going to cover here. There are dozens that can fit in this category, but today we're going to talk about three of them. The first one is the Brinks-Mat robbery from 1983 and happened in the United Kingdom. What happened? Well, the Brinks-Mat robbery, often dubbed the crime of the century, took place on November 26, 1983 at the Heathrow International Trading Estate in London. 6 armed robbers broke into a warehouse operated by Brinks-Mat and made off with approximately 26 million pounds, which is about 100 million pounds a day, in gold bullion, diamonds, and cash.
Damn!
Quite a big haul. Well, how'd they do it? Well, like most heists, they had inside help. In this case, Anthony Black, who was a security guard at the warehouse, he provided crucial details about the warehouse's security measures, including the layout and the location of the vault. He also made impressions of the key to the main door, allowing the gang to enter without setting off any alarms or raising any suspicion. They also were able to disarm the electronic security systems. So once inside, they overpowered the security guards, tied them up, and poured petrol over them, threatening to light them on fire if they didn't
Hey,
comply.
I know the story takes place in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
but Jason, you're a fucking American.
Petrol,
He poured.
gas,
What did he pour on them?
gas, gasoline.
Thank you. I mean, look, I get it. They call it there, and if we were in England, I would call it petrol as
Mm-hmm.
well. But I'm an American. You're an American. We're in America. I don't care if we're telling stories about UK all day. We say gas.
They poured gas on them, threatening to light them on fire. Well, using Black's knowledge, they identified the two most senior guards who held the keys and combination numbers for the vault. And what they thought would be a nice haul of about £3 million turned out to be 26 million once they came upon all the other items in the vault. They were not prepared for this amount of loot, mainly the gold bars. 6,800 gold bars in 76 cases to be exact. What was meant as a smash and grab turned into 2 hours of loading up the stolen goods. They also had no clue on the larger scale ramifications.
I'm just gonna say, you don't get greedy. If you planned on getting about 3 million and you open it up and there are fucking gold bars in there that you were not prepared for, you take everything else around it, and hopefully, that should be your 3 million. The second you get greedy like that and you go against the plan, you're fucking yourself over.
Yes, that will be something I cover in a second. Totally agree with you. So the outcome, what happened? Well, police were not alerted to the robbery until around 8:30 a.m. By this time, the robbers had a lengthy head start. However, with such a large haul of gold, they knew it would be tough to turn into cash. Well, the burglars enlisted Kenneth Noyer to help convert the stolen gold into cash. Now, Noyer melted down the gold, mixed it with copper coins to make it less traceable, and sold it through jewelers. He deposited large sums of money in banks around Bristol, which eventually tipped off the police. That was the boogaboo that did him in. Now, the first person to go down was the inside man, Anthony Black. He confessed to being the inside man and then became an informant. He snitched on his brother in law, Brian Robinson. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for his role. Brian Robinson was arrested 10 days later. He was convicted of armed robbery and sentenced to 25 years in prison. He was released in 2000 and later died in a London nursing home in 2022. Now, Mickey McAvoy, the suspected mastermind, was also arrested 10 days later. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and in 1995, he was actually ordered by the court to pay back the entire amount of the stolen goods. Yeah.
Okay. What are you gonna do? Put me in prison?
Yeah. Let me get my checkbook. Well, he was released in 2000 and he too died in 2023 in Spain. The other
So,
four robbers have never been found.
well, good for them. Uh, because honestly, I look, I don't like criminals. I don't. If you steal
Uh-huh.
from regular people or you murder people, that's bad. But like stealing from the man, it's like if you get caught, tough on you. So I mean, like if you don't have a plan beforehand
Uh-huh.
on stealing gold and on how to make sure that gold cannot be traced, because like honestly, the way that they handled that was stupid. I mean, especially considering you're in fucking Europe. You don't have to do it all right there. You go
Right?
over borders, different countries, especially some of the shadier ones.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there are plenty of those in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, their biggest mistake. They should not have picked up that gold. If it goes against the plan, you don't get greedy. You stick with the
Absolutely.
plan.
With a long-term effect that this had was the robbery helped create the money laundering techniques that are used today, such as hiding the origins of funds in offshore accounts. It also led to the banking arm of Johnson Matthey to collapse. The robbery was followed by decades of reprisal killings, which, with seemingly anyone connected to the heist meeting a violent end. Like this
Damn.
could be a whole story in itself, but I just really condensed it down. This
I'm
was a
wondering
lot
if
of
those
going
four
on.
people that never got caught were some of those people that just ended up
Yeah,
gone.
tying up loose ends. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the stolen gold was never recovered. Some believe that half of the gold was melted and sold back to legitimate dealers, while the other half was buried. That's what you do with gold. You bury it, right?
No, but okay.
Pop culture references. There has been several movies, books, and documentaries on this event. The most recent was called The Gold. This was a 6-episode series that debuted in 2023 on the BBC One. Now, my side note is greed always wins. Just like in the movie Point Break, the first one, they only stuck to the cash drawers, never went for the vault. They never got greedy, and the one time they went for the vault, it all went
Yep.
to shit. So, a tip
Yeah.
to all robbers: don't get greedy, and the likelihood of you getting caught decreases.
Well, and as long as they're not violent, most of the, I mean, the pursuit of them will still be like pretty hardcore, but not near as
Mm
hardcore as the second they hurt or kill somebody.
hmm. Mm hmm.
So,
Yep. So, stick to your $100,000 and don't go for the millions. If I was to
yeah,
ever do a
unless the
counterfeiting
millions
ring,
is unless the millions were part of the plan, and you've got a plan on how to do it. Yeah,
right? If I was to ever do a counterfeiting ring, I would counterfeit $5 bills.
I wouldn't,
Why?
because no matter what, counterfeiting is just it's a bad idea.
I mean, it's
It's
all a bad
you're gonna
idea,
get
but
caught. You're gonna get. I mean, they almost always figure out how to do that. I mean, how to find it. So, and
possibly,
they
but
just make
nobody
it
ever
more
checks a
difficult.
$5 bill for a marker across it.
No, they don't. But you're also, like, let's see, $1 million dollars in $5 bills would be 200,000 $5 bills. Do you have? You're talking about like having, like the big
I
stack
know.
like in Breaking Bad,
Yeah, but that's what it
where
go back to not being greedy, just printing out my $6,000 and be okay with it. A very small money laundering scheme.
I stop us for a second. Did
Okay.
you hear Denise shouting in the background and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, trying to think of where we were. she apparently the dogs were acting up whenever she got home.
No.
So I
We
mean,
could
you can
just
keep it in if you want. I don't care.
you could cut it somewhere after the greedy stuff.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Uh, Heist number 2, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist from 1990 that happened right here in the United States.
Mm.
On March 18th, 1990, in a heist considered the largest art theft in history, two men dressed as police officers took just 81 minutes to steal 13 works of art and other items from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. The stolen works included paintings by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Degas, and Monet, and were worth an estimated $500 million.
Damn.
Yeah, for stupid paintings. Well, how'd they do it? Well, per the museum's website, they have a very detailed on how they did it. On early the morning of March 18th, a vehicle pulled up close to the side entrance of the museum. Two men in police uniforms pushed the museum buzzer, stated they were responding to a disturbance, and requested to be let in. The guard on duty broke protocol and allowed them through the employee entrance. At the fake at the fake officer's request, he stepped away from the watch desk. He and a second security guard were then handcuffed and tied up in the basement of the museum. They even had duct tape around their eyes and wrapped around their head. It was weird. They had like this bag over their head and duct tape. Had them pretty much secured. They couldn't see or hear anything. After 2 trips to the car to load up their 13 finesse paintings, they left around 2:45 a.m., doing it all in just 81 minutes. What happened? The guards remained handcuffed until police arrived at 8:15 a.m. Once again, the thieves had a huge head start. The thieves' movements were captured with motion detectors and set off numerous written alerts stating, "Someone is in the Dutch room, investigate immediately." This was all the police had to go on. It was weird. You know those telegraph machines that they come out the little message on the end. This is
Yeah,
what these guard posts were getting, like tapped out to them. Someone's in the Dutch room. Investigate
like the
immediately.
stock tickers.
Yes, it just kept coming.
Oh
It's
wow.
cool. I have to put a picture of that when we do the shorts for this. The long term effect. This is still an active and ongoing investigation. The museum is offering a $10 million reward for information leading to the recovery of the stolen art. Today, empty frames remain hanging in the museum as a placeholder for the missing works and as symbols of hope awaiting their return.
So, like, art theft is highly lucrative, because the people that buy stolen art, they're typically super rich people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're some are super rich criminals, some are probably regular super rich people that just don't care
Just
because they're
want it.
super
Yeah.
rich. So it is a problem, like when something's stolen, it is hard to find. Now, granted, I can't go steal a painting right now because I don't have any connections and I don't know where I would sell them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to be in the know. But once they are, and if they're good at what they do, when it
You'll
comes to
never see it
stealing
again.
art, yeah, it's just gone. I mean, I've there's a heist that you might cover someday that it's in Israel and it's at a museum there. And
Mm-hmm.
only reason that one even got caught is because once the dude died, he basically let people know. So it's just like uh, you
It's a
know,
lot easier to hide the paintings in a sense where you can
well,
hide it behind another painting or hell even
I
paint
think it's
over it.
I think it's mostly that the people that they sell it to are good at hiding because I'm sure they have
Mm-hmm.
like their little hidden collection that they just go and enjoy themselves. Kind of like how like that one rich guy bought like that one was it Wu Tang album or something, and was just like, and he had the one copy of it, and he was like, "I'll make sure it's never released." It's just because that thing of like there's only one of these. I have it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
special. I'm just gonna go admire it. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like rich people don't want to get arrested and put in jail or anything like that. So,
And you don't try to spend the painting. You don't try to spend it. You just hang it on the wall. Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, but the person that sold it to them has all that money now. I mean,
Very true.
yeah, it's still a matter of like, you get your offshore accounts or whatever and you
Mm-hmm.
play it smart, because you didn't like, hey, that guy that was homeless like a week ago and now he has a mansion. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, what a turn of luck! On Netflix, you can check this one out. This is a robbery, the world's biggest art heist that cover this incredible robbery. Several books and podcasts also expand on this heist.
I've heard
Now,
of this one on
yeah,
podcasts.
I've looked at at these paintings, and all I can say is, meh. And I know art is perceived differently by everyone, but these paintings just don't scream $500 million.
I mean, a lot of it's because of who painted them, but like I like Rembrandt. Rembrandt is his art's really cool. It's very detailed and lifelike.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not
But the
big
other
on.
four, the other three, I've never heard of them.
You never was it? Did you say it was Manet or Monet?
Manet,
Okay, so
Manet.
um, yeah, I've heard of him. Who were the other ones?
Vermeer and Degas.
Definitely heard
Degas
of Degas.
haven't. He's French. I haven't heard of him. But
Vermeer,
Rembrandt, yeah.
one that I'm familiar with. Uh, I particularly my art taste is more of the Renaissance, like my favorite paintings are, Caravaggio's. Ah, it's awesome. It's got one in Fort Worth called the Card Shop. It's awesome. It's my favorite painting ever. But yeah, no, Rembrandt. His I could see his work being worth that much. Manet, yeah, to a degree. Degas is well more, very well known. So yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not some of their famous paintings or something you would even recognize. You just look at it, you're like, really? Like I would pass those up and go for something else.
Well, yeah, but that's why you're not an art thief.
Very true.
And be like, man, I took this really great thing, Jason. That's an ashtray.
That's a placeholder for the frame.
Will you put the trash can back? We're here to steal sculptures.
That's another thing. Sculptures is a whole different story.
I wouldn't want to steal sculptures. They're heavy.
Hmm.
And hell, some of it's so funny. Like there's certain paintings that are smaller than you realize. Like the Mona Lisa is smaller than what people think.
Hmm.
Um, but then there's some paintings that are way bigger than you think. I mean, because I know there's some that whenever I went to the Prado in Spain, that were like, I want to say like 14 feet by 12 feet, and I'd seen pictures of them before, but it never gives you the idea of the size.
That's a
Uh,
damn painting you need a ladder on.
but yeah, no. So I'd be all for. I mean, in some of those small paintings, they're worth more anyway. So just steal those.
Well, you've been to art museums and stuff. So have you been
Mhm.
standing in front of a piece of art and it just talked to you in a way?
Yeah. No, when there's a painting that I really really like. It's my favorite one at the Dallas Museum of Art, and I forget who the artist is. It's some French guy, and it was painted in the 1700s or the 1800s, and it's a village with an approaching storm. And my taste in paintings is I like something with a narrative. I'm not big on portraits. I don't really like abstract or anything like that. I like it
Hmm.
whenever I can look at something and I can kind of see a story happening. And this, you just have a storm coming towards this town, but you see like there's a lady struggling with a donkey. There's a boat that's trying to rush back in. There are people trying to get inside. I enjoy those. I do the story in my head. There was one at the Prado that was fucking badass. It was um it was a medieval painting, and it was like these guys in this castle fighting against like skeletons and stuff like that had swords, and they were losing. The living people were. I mean, like people were getting all sorts of just fucked up, and it was
Man, it
awesome.
kind of reminds me of the paintings that we always see in our history books. The little paintings they would have in a little square circle on the bottom. They
Yeah.
were painting a famous event or something.
Well, I'll
I don't
be
know.
hitting New York pretty soon, and I will get to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art for the very
Ooh.
first time, which I'm very excited for. When I was in college, I did a class. It was just museums of New York, and half of the semester was dedicated to the Met. And it sucks that I'm only going to have a day to spend there, and from what I understand, you really need like a week or so to really explore that museum, which like even with the Prado in Spain, that one, like I was gonna try to see all of it, but my feet started hurting, and I had to start like figuring out where the artists that I wanted to see where their works were, so that I could go look at them. So,
One thing
all
I
right,
know
this is
about that
making me
place.
seem too civilized. Hey, everybody, I'm wearing a Jason Voorhees shirt that has blood all over it. There,
uh, well, we'll go on to heist number three, the Diamond Heist and at Antwerp World Diamond Center in 2003 in Belgium. On the weekend of February 15th and 16th of 2003, and at the Antwerp Diamond District in Belgium, what was dubbed the heist of the century, led by Leonardo Notar Bartolo. God, I butchered that one.
well, wait,
Notar
I'll tell you
Bartolo.
now. You're spoiling things the second you say who led the heist. Because a good heist, you don't know.
Oh,
Go on.
okay. Well, him and four other thieves stole loose diamonds, gold, silver, and other jewelry valued at more than $100 million. the
Wow.
largest ever diamond heist,
What year was this?
in 2003.
Dang, so that's $2003.
Yeah, not bad, not a bad haul. Well, how'd
No.
they do it? Well, this is the type of heist you see in movies. It's very planned out with years of planning invested. It actually had to be. The vault itself has 10 layers of security, Doppler radar, infrared heat detectors, a seismic sensor, a magnetic field, and a lock with millions of possible combinations. So, piece of cake, right? Posing as a diamond dealer, Notar Bartolo rented an office in a diamond center 3 years prior to the heist. Now that's planning. This allowed him to gain access to the building and meticulously plan the operation. And here's how the robbery broke down. Friday evening, the vault doors were closed at 7 p.m. Saturday night, about a little after midnight, Notar Bartolo waited a little way away while four men entered the center through a building behind it. They disabled the heat sensing infrared detector and covered security cameras with plastic bags. They entered the vault door and, using a slab of aluminum, taped the door's magnetic plates side by side to the antechamber wall. Thus, no alarm went off.
Oh.
Yeah. They found a key to the vault, which was in a tiny metal box next to the door. Kind of like that stupid freaking escape room.
Yeah, it's like where's the key? Where's the key? It's right there. It's
Probably
right
where they
next
got
to
it
it.
from. Probably where they got it from. Cheeky bastards. Anyway, a tiny camera was used to record the combination when the vault was open one morning. So another little sly trick there. Upon cracking the code, they used the key to open the vault door. The team, ensuring that they don't set off any heat or light sensors, walked into the room and set their security system sensors out of loop. They still had to open the safe deposit boxes. The thieves used a custom made hand crank device to open 109 of the 189 safe deposit boxes.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're planned out, they got it all set up. And so on Sunday morning around 5:30, and after opening up the 109 boxes, the robbers determined they had enough. Before leaving, they allegedly stole the videotapes from the center's office. They made their escape through an exit that opened onto a street a little away. After the robbery, the group returned to Notar Bartolo's apartment in Antwerp. Later, Notar Bartolo, man, that name is butchering, and
You
an
could just say
accomplice,
like his last name.
it is his last name.
Oh, I thought just Bartolo was his last name.
No, it's Notarbartolo.
I just use
It's
pronouns.
too too
He did
far.
this. Go
Yeah,
on.
his name be Leonardo.
Yeah, just call
A
him
little easier
Leo.
to say. All right. What about Notar? What about Notar?
Okay.
Notar and an Notar and an accomplice disposed of evidence near the East 19 motorway between Antwerp and Brussels by mingling it in with some household trash. The heist went undetected until the following Monday morning when a Diamond Center employee discovered the breach. Now, the outcome, what happened? Well, later on Monday, a grocer by the name of August Van Champ found a pile of junk in the underbrush of his land, including envelopes from the Diamond Center. He reported it to the police. The police tracked down payment stubs and other evidence that pointed towards Dotar. The hasty disposal of the tiny trash bag was the undoing of the perfect crime.
It
He
wasn't
thought,
perfect then.
no, he thought about everything but the way he disposed of the trash. Uh, uh, it also should be stated that Notar also had safe deposit box there that he left unopened.
Oh, he didn't open his?
Yeah, don't rob for me. Yeah, don't take mine. Leave that one there.
Shit,
Idiot.
that would have been the first one I opened.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're going to open up 109 of them, you
Now,
might as well open
granted,
up 110.
there were 79 others that weren't opened that weren't his. So, but I mean,
True.
it doesn't help with the evidence. But
No.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to trash, you burn what you can.
Mm-hmm.
I get throwing away stuff and it's smart to like do it at different places, but you actually have to throw it into dumpsters. You don't just sit there and like toss it,
Yeah, place it
you
on
know,
top. No, you got to put
in
that shit on
somebody's
bottom.
backyard or whatever. Yeah, in the
Mm-hmm.
underbrush.
Oh, well, Notar was arrested when he returned to the Diamond Center building the Friday after the heist. In addition to Notar, the team consisted of at least four other members, whom Notar gave alias to during interviews, though he refused to specify whom each alias is referred to. The first one he talked about was a guy by the name of Speedy, described as an anxious and paranoid man. He was a longtime friend of Notar and was the one responsible for scattering the rubbish in the woods.
Oh,
Most
he
likely,
fucked up.
yeah, this guy was most likely Pietro Tavano.
You know, this is why you don't involve nepotism with your heist team. I don't care if
Mm-hmm.
your friends are, like if I'm going to plan a heist and it requires, like silence, I'm not going to ask Jason. And Jason could be like, let me be part of your heist. And I'll be like, no, you can't be quiet. You make weird noises all the time.
I do. I do have weird mouth noises, and I'm sorry.
And just in general, I mean, you guys don't see the chair debacle where Jason had to get a less comfortable chair because it kept making noise.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that you don't involve nepotism with your heist team. I mean, that Notar got what he had coming because he made a bad decision.
Mm-hmm. Another guy he described as the monster. The monster, described as a tall, muscular man, he was apparently an expert lockpicker, electrician, mechanic, and driver, and was very strong. Most likely the alias of Ferdinando Finotto.
Fernando Fedotto.
That's a good name. It's like
Mhm.
an F4 driver, Formula One driver, I mean. The genius was a specialist in alarm systems, most likely the alias of Elio de Honorio, an electronics expert known to be linked to series of robberies. And the last guy, the king of keys, an older man, yeah, an older man like a damn janitor. He was described as one of the best key forgers in the world. His true identity is unknown, and he remains the only member of the crew to escape apprehension by the police.
I was gonna say he seems like the only member in that heist team that actually had a fucking brain
Mm-hmm.
because nobody has even suspects who the hell he is.
Nope, no idea. Notar was found guilty of orchestrating the heist. He was sentenced just to 10 years in prison by the Court of Appeals of Antwerp in 2005. The other three each got 5 years in prison. The majority of the loot was not recovered. Once again. Now, the long term effect, the increased insurance premiums for diamond traders and jewelers, improved security measures, including advanced surveillance systems and biometric access controls. It put everyone in the business on high alert for fraud. Now, this heist has been the subject of books, TV shows, and films, including the book Flawless, Inside the Largest Diamond Heist in History, and the TV series History's Greatest Heists. The new movie, Den of Thieves 2, is also based on this heist.
Which I've heard bad things about. I heard the first one was actually pretty good, but the
Yeah.
second one's trash.
Mm-hmm. Now, a side note, just a thought. What if the police authorities state the loot was not found, but it actually was? Can you imagine how much good that could do for a police department? Does make you wonder where the hell does it all go?
Um, wait, did they recover any of it?
No.
All right. Well, then it didn't go anywhere. But typically, if the police recover something, so if initially it's evidence, in the event of like whenever it comes to like art, gold, cash, whatever, those the museums and banks have that insured, and so
Uh-huh.
they get paid out eventually on that stuff. If it's recovered, especially if it's cash, they have to pay it back. Uh, Things along those lines. But it would go back to where it's supposed to go. The police don't get like a finder's fee or nothing like that. Now that being said, I've seen plenty of movies where the cops
Uh-huh.
find a bunch of stuff and they're just all like, oh my god, we found $100,000. We found $80,000.
How would you not be able to get away with that? I mean, the temptation would be so there. Just like you said,
I
report 80,000 instead of
I
100.
it's fun to talk about all this high stuff, and I'm sitting there being critical of it. I wouldn't be good at any of that because I'd be far, far, far too anxious. I would, even if I committed the perfect crime, my brain hates me so much that it would constantly tell me that I'm about to get caught, and my life would be miserable. So, no, I, I, I wouldn't. If I was a cop, I wouldn't take the cash just that I found, and I would never be a heist person because I don't have the nerve for
No,
it.
but you have the movie knowledge and the expertise of
Look, I
planning a
don't
perfect
remember
heist.
the movie expert in Ocean's
Mhm.
11.
No, but you understand how they get away with stuff
Well, speaking of movie stuff, you said that in the heist movies they always get away with it.
most of the time. Yeah,
I was gonna say, here's a heist movie that you might not have thought about: Die Hard. The
true. They
bad
were
guys
there
are
to steal there. Yeah, they were
the
there to steal
bad guys
shit.
were doing a heist. I mean, it's an action movie because and a Christmas movie, but
Mhm.
uh,
Yes,
but
it is. I agree.
they have an intricate heist with a lot of planning and a lot of crazy execution and different members that do different things.
Yeah.
It is essentially like a heist movie from the other side, and I can't think of any other examples right now, but I'm certain there are more.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah,
heist
but
movies.
typically any movie where you got like multiple bad guys and they each have their expertise and they're going to steal something is essentially like the reverse heist movie.
And I didn't even talk about National Treasure and all the things he heisted or stole.
It's still more of an adventure movie, I think, isn't it?
I mean,
I
he
don't
stole
know.
the Declaration of Independence.
I've
I mean,
never
come
watched
on.
either one of them. So,
I mean, they're hokey, of course, but it's still Nicolas Cage. So it's pretty great.
hmm.
Hmm. Well, that would do it for this episode. But this will be a part two. That was fun, and there are plenty of heists that I could talk about.
There are loads of them, and they are fun to learn about.
Absolutely, how they like this last one. There was so much detail into it that once again I cut it down quite a bit. But the amount of planning that it took to do this. I mean, moving in somewhere 3 years prior just to
And
do that
still
long
fucking it
con.
up because you get your friend to throw away the trash. It's like, look, you just
You
got to
have
throw
one
away
job.
trash. That's all you have to do. That's all you have
I've
to do.
done
And then
everything else.
and he doesn't put it in a trash can. He just fucking throws it in somebody's yard. And it's like, God damn it, Pietro, you stupid fuck.
You had one job.
As soon as I get out of here, I'm using my diamond money to make sure that you are raped on a daily basis by a very horny grizzly bear.
Oh, well, I don't know why this just popped into my head, but a hypothetical was given to me earlier today. Would
Okay.
you rather fight 15 horse-sized ducks
Oh dear God, Jason, question is like a decade old.
or two
You're
duck-sized horses?
it's actually I always heard it was like 40 duck size horses or one horse sized
Either
duck.
way, could you imagine seeing a duck the size of a horse?
I would
And what we covered about ducks?
what I would fight a duck because I love horses. I could never hit a horse, so I could
No, but
punch a duck.
I'm
Punch
just
a duck right in its corkscrew dick.
that's what I was alluding to. Could you imagine how big it would be if it was a horse size?
It was like a drill goes through your chest. Now I need
Oh
to put
man,
that in a horror movie. All right.
I don't know why I thought about that, but tune in next week as Darrell uses his explosive prowess and brings us a topic that made him say, "Wait, what?" We'll catch
Yeah,
y'all later.
as soon as I figure out a topic.
Get to writing.
All right.
We'll catch y'all
Bye.
later.
Thank you for joining us for Waywut. If you would, tell your friends or your enemies that they can watch us on YouTube or Rumble. And if you don't want to see our face or if they don't want to see our faces, you can listen to us on your preferred audio platform. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, you name it, we're probably on there. Please like, review, and comment on whatever platform you joined us on today. We'd appreciate that a ton. Again, just thank you for listening and watching. We hope you'll join us next time. We'll make you say, "Wait, what?"